Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Welcome to the Apollo Audio Podcast. Look, there's an extra person here. Well, there's not. There's a replacement person here. Because as is often the case with these ones, I've got a guest in, so Billy doesn't bother. That seems to be how it works. That might be how people think it is. It's because he's doing other stuff and our schedules just don't tie up. That's the only reason.
We have past grudges and he's not allowed in the same room as me.
That's right. But you were mentioned in dispatches, I think, on our earlier podcast. I said we were going to do this, or maybe we just chatted about it off air. I'm Martin Lumsden, producer engineer. I'm at Apollo Audio. Billy's not here, but with me in the studio, and you can hear the noise in the studio. I'll talk about that in a minute. Elliot Stout.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Well, thank you for having me.
I mean, you are very familiar with this, with these surroundings.
I am, yes. Most of the time was spent in this room, not actually doing work, and playing guitar.
That's good. How far back do you go with these premises? Long before it was Apollo Audio.
Yeah, I worked here when it was River City. I'm not sure how long it was River City, but
that's got to be that's got to be 10 years.
Oh God, must be. Yeah, I was here at least 4 or 5 years pre-COVID.
Yeah. I was going to say, I reckon River City was about 2015, something like that.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Graphic Nature prior to that.
I only rehearsed here once when it was Graphic Nature.
Yeah. I was never here ever when it was Graphic Nature.
You never got to witness the beautiful mural.
No.
That still resides beneath the white paint.
No, does it?
Have you heard tell of the mural?
No.
It is a man with his genitalia upon a donkey of some sort.
Oh, okay.
It's fabulous.
Right. It's probably just as well that's not there anymore. Probably just as well. Anyway, I'm going to say welcome back, but it's not like you've ever been away. But
no.
But it's good to have you back.
Always good to be here.
Say you are traditional, a transitional element in the studio. You cover eras.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice to have you. But that's not why you're here. We're not just here to talk like Apollo Audio Shop or Studio Shop. We're here to talk about your band, Bag of Bones.
Aye, we are indeed,
and the fact that you have a brand new album, which is, as we speak, sitting here now, although it'll be beyond this by the time this comes out tomorrow.
I know, it's
official
exciting.
Launch tomorrow.
I know, it's the album on vinyl as well, which is
on vinyl, CD, download, you're doing the works, basically.
Everything, yes.
I should explain that we are in the control room, and it is a Thursday night. There's a band rehearsing next door, so as we said before, this may be blocked because of PRS. Because they're playing covers in there, usually covers that you'll hear the edits, folks. If there's anything in here that I need to take out because we said something rubbish, you'll hear "Welcome to the Jungle" suddenly cut halfway through and jump into whatever it is that they do next.
We'll just lie and say it's 70 years old.
Yeah. But it's nice to have some background music.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully these microphones are isolating our voices enough.
It's probably catching me heavy breathing. It's always
that, a little bit of So Bag of Bones, how long, because I know that the band existed, and I know you did a gig here, which must be, was it your debut gig? Had you done a gig before? Here?
Yeah, it was our debut gig.
And that must be 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah, so it was kind of, it started around sort of 2022, no, I'm lying, 2023.
Yeah.
With this very first rehearsals, and then I got a job and I had to basically put it down for a bit.
Yeah.
So since 2023-ish, about that, it's 3 years.
Okay, so 3 years of band.
Yes.
And I had the delight of being at your first gig.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that until you sent me that video yesterday.
Which we did here. Yeah, because I found some evidence
yes.
of that gig as well. So that was pretty cool, because I'd heard you doing rehearsals before, but then seeing you guys play live, that was awesome. So should explain, it's you and 2 other people.
Yes, yeah, so it's Josh Parrott on drums,
yep,
and my brother Elliot Stout on bass.
Yep. Yeah. But nice, so it's a tight, compact unit,
yeah,
but you make a lot of noise.
Yeah, we do. We kind of get away with making a lot of noise because there's 3 of us, so we're not taking up too many frequency lanes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I like to think it's pleasantly loud.
Yeah.
Anyone who's seen us will know.
You've all got your own zone.
Yes. But I like to think it's not definitely loud. People will tell me otherwise.
Obviously, it's kind of obvious how you knew your brother.
Yes.
But how did the band come together as a unit? What was your sort of genesis in terms of, hey, let's do this?
Basically, prior to sort of COVID, I was in a pretty successful band called Southbound for a long time, 10 years.
Yeah.
And that sort of came to an end, and just through that, really, my brother actually started stepping in for Southbound towards the end, because the bass player from that went off to sort of do jazz and pursue other stuff.
Okay.
And he hadn't touched the bass for a long time, but he picked it up really naturally, and he's enthusiastic about the style of the music, which is not all. It's, as I explained, for people who don't know, it's kind of like classic rock blues.
Yeah.
And for people of our sort of age group, you don't find many people who like it anymore. So
yeah, well, if anyone is doing that kind of stuff, they tend to be doing other people's stuff. Rather than writing their own.
But so he grew up around the same sort of influences. We shared a room for 21 years. But Josh, the drummer, I'd done a deck gig with him years before.
Yeah.
And he never occurred to me as a drummer, because someone told me he lived in Kent or something like that. And I found out actually that he lived like 5 minutes around the corner from me.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it was basically that. It was on the way, sort of in the end days of the Southbound stuff.
Yeah.
I was writing songs, and kind of, instead of going to the other band members, which I normally would, and co-write, I was holding them back and thinking, in short, I wasn't kind of happy there anymore.
Right.
I wanted to pursue sort of more stuff in my style, and that was it really. And then I had a massive writing burst where I wrote about 30 songs, something like that, and then cherry picked from them. So I knew instantly that I had stuff. And so it was just that really. I didn't know whether I could front the band first, because I never really sung before. I'd done backing.
Oh wow, okay. I would not have known that from having seen you do that.
I would sing the one or the occasional song.
Yeah.
But so it was kind of I didn't know if I could front the band. I'd always been in a band with another guitarist, so it was kind of that really, whether I could stretch my legs, do the guitar, remember all the lyrics and stuff like that, and whether the material was strong enough in a three-piece element for me. Yeah. Also, as well, with my brother, who was just sort of fresh, whether he was going to be able to hold the meat a little bit.
Hold the groove.
Yes, but I don't know. You've heard it play. He's not necessarily a bass player. He's almost like another guitarist, just bigger, isn't he? I suppose.
Well, one of the things that's always interesting with any band, I suppose, is with a band, you kind of think, well, I shouldn't really notice anything necessarily particular. It's not like something really stands out. Why are you showing off? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, it all sounds like a unit. It's like everything goes together.
Yeah, it was exactly that. In the previous band, everyone had their lane very much. We're all very much unit. Everyone had their like what they did, and it was kind of the wanting to step out of that and go more harder into some of my older influences before blues, which is sort of like grunge and metal and stuff like that, and basically just being able to do what you want without having to be diplomatic, which is what you have to be in a band. I'm not I don't want to be a tyrant or anything like that, but it was sometimes after 10 years you kind of like didn't want to have to talk to other people about you kind of just want to be like, okay, it should just go this way.
But also, Southbound being quite a big band, there's a lot of voices, whereas even if there's a little bit of disagreement, you're trying to consolidate with 2 people rather than with another 5 people.
That's
finding the middle ground's probably a little bit easier.
Yeah, me and my brother especially think pretty much on the same grounds. We grew up listening to the same music and everything. Yeah. And Josh just loves playing so much, and what I found is that he won't resist the simple thing that it needs to be. Yeah. If it's 4/4, he'll play it 4/4 because he enjoys the material. Same with my Rolly. If it's one note throughout the whole song, he'll play it because he enjoys the song.
We were talking. We've been talking on other versions of this other episodes of this podcast about serving the song. It's like, sometimes it's like, I don't want you doing nuts stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just serve the song.
That's what I enjoy about Bones, is serving the song. Not that the previous band wasn't like that, but it did. We started very young, and when we grew up and got better, me especially guilty of it, I was more concerned with my own virtuosity. Yeah. But maturity is a good thing.
Yeah, it can be when you get to the point it's like I'll be recognised as good by being good rather than recognised as good by showing off.
Less is more, as they say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The space between the notes. Yeah. So was writing always about performing? Was it always like, were you writing songs you thought, I want to get up and play these? Or how does it work for you when you're kind of writing songs? Was it always about, I want to be performing and I need to be writing in order to do that? Or how does it come about for you?
Honestly, Bag of Bones it needs to be fun.
Yeah.
It got to a stage with previous stuff where music wasn't fun anymore. I wasn't getting anything out of it for me. I was playing in a lot of dep bands, playing like Britpop and stuff like that, and it's totally not me. And I thought, I don't care even if I never play a gig with this. If I just rehearse, it would be fun. And that was it. I was just writing loads anyway, just because I was working here at the time. I would come in and in between tidying rooms and stuff, I'd sit in the control room where we are now. Yeah. And a lot of my gear was here, so I'd sit in and just plug in. Yeah. And something would always come out, and then on the walk home, I used to live around the corner as well. Yeah. I'd just write the song in my head. Yeah. And so it was just kind of a vessel for that, really. My brother just got back into playing, and then the previous band we were in broke up, so I wanted to keep him playing as well. So it was just an idea before a vent to get it all out and just see if it was any good. We were struggling for ages to find a drummer, and a good friend of ours called Joe Anderton, he's goes by the artist name of Green. You should look him up. He's really good. He used to play in the Connor Selby band. We knew him from touring. He come down and was our sort of drummer for a while. Yeah. He'd just left the big band as well, and he was sort of the soundboard that I bounced the ideas off, and because I trusted his opinion, was like, can I sing? Is this stuff good? Yeah. And he literally just came down and rehearsed with us just so I could go through the songs for a while. Yeah. And that was it really, and it was just fun. Every time we rehearsed, it wasn't a massive debate. If I came in with a new song, would be rehearsed in, and we could probably play it live. Yeah. That after that rehearsal, it was easy. It was fun again. It was a long way of saying it was fun again.
Yeah. I think that's true. Just listening to you saying that, I think the band is fun. I was thinking, you're describing them as a sort of, describe Bag of Bones as a blues rock band. Yeah. It's possibly a reasonably easy description. Yeah. But I think that in itself can cover a lot of ground, and it can be. What's a good word for it? Well, I suppose people might be put off a little bit by the idea of blues rock, because it can get a bit... What's the right word? Not introspective, that's not what I mean. But it gets a bit inward, it gets a bit kind of... Oh, yeah. Can be a bit, showy-offy again. And, it's kind of, played a little lick and there's a ripple of applause from the audience.
Yeah, it's very cork sniffery, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas my description of Bag of Bones would be I think fun is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, we don't take ourselves seriously at all. Yeah. Blues rock is just the easiest bracket to put around it. We usually call ourselves blues-grunge because sometimes we go a bit heavier, and it's just a pathetic market employed, to be honest with you. Yeah. If we thought it'd be different, but we don't necessarily fit neatly into a blues rock category, as we found out by playing blues rock festivals where some of the audiences were aghast that we were even there.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Yes. Is it kind of going, oh no, these are like songs. Yeah. Why are you not just playing riffs, man? These have got tunes, these have got words, these have got melodies.
Oh, it's easy. We played a venue where we didn't know that they had a blues night, and basically we played there, and about 2 weeks later someone from the venue approached us and said, we've heard great things about you from other places. We know you've never played it. They didn't even know we played there 2 weeks up. We have a blues club on a Sunday. I had to break it to the fella that we'd played there already, and he was aghast. But anyway, he came to see us when we were next there in hopes of us playing his blues club at this venue. And after the gig, he promptly told us that if we were to play there, we'd have to take down the tempo of some of our songs. and he must have played a little bit, but he told me I'd have to stop, not use drop D tuning for anything. So I said, I don't think we're necessarily going to be for you then. Right. It's happened a few times. One of our heckles, we were playing Blackpool Rock and Blues Festival, and somebody heckled us saying, why don't you play some more rock? And there's people like booing to that and stuff like that. Not necessarily like it was. We can't. For those old school sort of like blues fans and stuff like that, we can't please them all. Yeah. Normally, I've been in bands where it's sort of like university. Like, oh yeah, that's exactly the kind of stuff we like. But we're not trying to be anything other than what we enjoy. So So, but yeah, we don't necessarily fit comfortably into that.
That can make it hard when things like that seem to be very like genre boundaried. When they are sort of like, if you don't, if you're calling yourself blues, then you have to be blues. You can't stretch the boundaries of what blues is, or that can make it a little bit complicated.
Yeah,
so that's why I can imagine why you kind of go, well, let's not call ourselves blues rock then. Let's call ourselves blues grunge, because then we're going to go and we're not maybe what you think.
It actually opened us up to a different audience as well. We found previous incarnations of stuff. We found that a lot of the followers we would get, loyal followers, that would be sort of above the age of 40, and they would be the ones going out to the gigs. But in Bag of Bones, it's been a younger crowd who's stuck with us. And so we've played a lot more venues that wouldn't be. If we had said we were just straight blues, they wouldn't have had us. Or if we did covers of blues, they wouldn't have had us. Because I'll just say as well, very early on, even from that first gig that we did, I basically had another writing burst when Josh finally came and it was all clicking and we were rehearsing all the time. I had a massive writing burst again, and we ended up with we could do about a 3-hour set of just all completely original songs. We had 2 covers and then everything was
a 3-hour set.
3-hour set, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a massive writing burst. And so from that first gig, we could go out and do those sort of places, and so we could do loads of different. We could do a venue and go, well, this one's. There's a few younger people in there. We won't do the slow blues song that we do. We'll do this one. We had lots of stuff to put out the hat, and it got us a little bit of a younger following who were into live music again, which was something I'd missed before. It felt in England especially, the touring live music scene is basically dead. And it was on its way out just as the band I was in, Southbound, was on its way out. There was I remember hilariously that we played the Borderline in 4 times in 1 year. We played it once before they did a refurbishment, and then 3 times in the space of 2 months after they refurbished it, and then a month later after they refurbished it shut down.
But and that was one of those places that had been around for years. And it was a tour circuit for any of the, when I was in bands, that was your sort of first step aspiration. But in that band, we'd sort of plateaued where you could go in that genre around here. It was kind of doing like the blues festivals, supporting people like Dr. Feelgood, or like what's left of Dr. Feelgood and stuff like that, or like Rory Gallagher's bass player. And so it's just more opportunities and venues to play in this style. Well, let's talk about the album actually, because I was obviously involved in this, which thank you for involving me.
No, thank you.
It was great. And I was saying earlier, I was having a chat with Billy, because an album that I worked on by a guy called Dan Thomas, which was also recorded here, but they couldn't be more different in terms of the way they were put together. In that Dan's, we did, I think, band tracking was over 3 days, and then we took multiple days when we were doing overdubs on guitars, and we did vocals. And so the stretch of that recording period was probably a little bit stretched out, but let's say 9 to 12 months was the total period when we were doing additional stuff. Couldn't be more removed from how Bag of Bones was done. It was like, let's do the whole thing in a day.
Well, like I said, I'd been through a similar experience to what you had with Dan, where I'd recorded before and done everything, used SSL desks, Neves, overdub guitars, did it all perfectly, and really, I think what was a shame was that album came out soulless, and the music on it wasn't that, and it was a shame. And so I had a really negative experience from that, and I spoke to you about it before. And everything I was sort of listening to, like Black Keys is a great example. They recorded in their basement on an old TAC reel to reel. And I realised that the reason I was never happy is because I just wanted to hear what I was hearing in the room. And actually, the Get Back Beatles documentary was a big inspiration, because I watched that, and they had foldback live in the room whilst they were tracking.
Wearing headphones. Like, how does that work?
They literally had PA columns in, and you think, right, it sounds. So I thought, while we're overthinking this, we're just going to rehearse the tracks that we think we want to do to death. Get in the room and play. And we thought, why we rehearse here all the time?
I don't.
At the time, like you say, it was pretty much a laptop, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we had a 16-channel setup basically in here, and I think this might be a slightly underestimation, but we were talking about it earlier on. I think we used 5.
Yeah.
I think it was more than that because there would have been at least 5 on the drums, but it was not a lot of channels.
Was it 5? I think it was less on the drums.
Maybe it was 4. Actually, maybe it was 4. I think I did the old Glyn Johns.
Yeah, I think
on the drums.
It was going to be more as well because I was going to run 2 amps.
Kick, snare, and an overhead. I think we did. Yeah.
I was going to run 2 amps at the same time, and one of the amps died at the end of the first stage. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But we had the good fortune when I was working. Was I working here at the time? I think I was working here still at the time.
Yeah.
So we came in the night before and set up the room.
Everything up, yeah.
But we were all in the room together. It was just like a sort of a triangle baffle separating drums, guitars, and we just played it live. In fact, we did a vocal overdubs, but I think
not that many though.
No.
Mean, there was vocal overdubs, but I think it's only on 3 songs.
Oh, is it?
I think so. I think all the other ones are basically the original vocal. So we did do some vocal overdubs, but not that many.
It was mostly me because I was messing up the words. And I didn't want to mess the take up, so I would just go
focus on the guitar playing. It's but apart from that was pretty much it. And I think we did one set on one song. I think we did some overdubs, backing vocals and percussion.
Yeah.
And that was it.
To be honest,
other than that, when you hear the album, it was all played.
Yeah, it was 5 mics. Like I said, I think we had 2 on my guitar amp, didn't we? I had one close, and I asked for one 5 feet away.
That's right, yeah.
And then we blended the 2.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, there's some on one of the tracks. I think it's Bad Omens. There's a cool thing where it's phasing out with the snare drum.
Yeah.
And it made a cool sound. But,
yeah. No, it just all sounded so. Like you said, and as I've referenced many times when we've been talking about doing recording, whether you're going to do it live in a day or whether you're going to do the whole thing, coming in prepared, like these are the songs I'm going to do. I know how to play them. I know how they go. So the instantaneous thing that was very obvious was if it's a good take or not, because you know whether you did what you wanted to do or not. Not kind of, was that all right? It's like, well, no, it wasn't, because I didn't do the thing I wanted to do, so I need to do it again.
For 8 weeks leading up to it, we rehearsed. I think we rehearsed at least twice a week, and when we'd get in, because at the time Josh worked evenings as well. He would finish work at about 9:30 and come straight here, and me and my brother would always both have to get up early, so we would do an hour and a half rehearsal.
That's right. I remember that. Usually you would come in late and you'd be here for about an hour and a half and straight back out again.
So we would just run the album. And we would run it in we've changed since, but we would run it in the running order. And then we would run it also with the one that we were going to warm up with. And because all my gear was here, we was using the gear that we were going to record with pretty much. And that was a big part of it as well, being here, comfortable. We didn't want to go to a studio where we didn't know the person. I was going to have to argue with the bloke about, whatever.
But even though it was like, I said it was well rehearsed, it was all done. Even though it was like a straight, let's get this on record experience. It was, for me, it was a really creative one as well, because it was really like there was so much like energy around like putting that together as well. So it was just like a great experience to do the whole thing.
Yeah, it was. It sounded great from the off, I think, because like I say, it just sounded natural, like it was in the room. We did some tweaking with your compression and stuff like that.
Yeah, but only a little bit. I mean, yes, of course, but afterwards. But I mean, I think I said to you at the time, the objective was, you play it, and I'll record it. And when I play it back in here through the speakers, it should sound like how you expected it to sound, without me going, oh, don't worry, I'll fix that later, or oh, don't worry, that'll be better when it's compressed, or don't worry, that'll be better when it's EQ'd. You should play it and you go, yep, there it is.
I think it as well was having again, what I said about the maturity thing, it was having a confidence in sound overall.
Yes.
I finally found sort of the rig I was happy with, and that's all I used. I wasn't bringing 5-6 amps in the studio like I had done before. I wasn't bringing. In fact, I did the whole thing I brought 3 guitars. I did the whole thing on one guitar. And normally I'm a guitar addict. I'm chopping and changing. One drum kit. The studio albums I've done before, we tuned the drum kit to the key of every song and stuff like that, and we're calculating the distance of mics for the key and stuff. But my brother just used one bass as well, and I think that's why it sounds. Hopefully, if you hear it, people, please buy it.
Do. It's really good.
He just had like a great sort of bottom end sound, really thumpy. He uses a Gibson bass, which is quite unusual for bass players these days. It's got humbuckers on it, which is a massive contrast to sort of like the modern pop sound. I don't use a pick as well, so my guitar tone's quite bright. And So they made like a really nice underbelly.
Yeah.
I can't complain. That's why basically every time we rehearse or play anything, we've never ever had an argument, disagreement about timing or anything like that ever. We all sort of just one unique vision of this is fun. I get what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think it really comes across. I think that whole sort of multi-tracking approach, that's valid as well. So we got a really good album out of the other one we did. It's just a different approach.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the key thing, is like knowing what we couldn't have done, like Dan's album, we couldn't have done it in a day because that was not the approach. We were not going to try and do that. It needed the time.
Yeah.
The whole approach was, let's get this down because that's the sound I want. I want it live in the room. I want to sound like how we sound. And it's just like knowing your outcome before you start makes such a big difference.
I think as well, what happened is I'd done a long stint in a band, a Dead band, where I was the only guitarist, and they would do like a lot of 80s synth pop songs. So I would have to make up and I don't use pedals, so I'd have to use make up a lot of the production just with raw guitar.
Yeah.
So I kind of got into that phase for my own songs of doing a lot of the production just me on my ones, giving like what I would imagine a string part was like a lick or something like that. And the idea of just sort of dropping out and being able to take off while the others supported me, it'd been something I'd never had before. There'd always be another guitar or an organ, someone backing me up. So embracing the space and being like, oh, you know what, it doesn't sound bad when you drop out. Actually, it takes away from what can be a full-on, in-your-face, sort of harsh frequency. It mellows it out a bit and makes it a bit more palatable.
It's a really great album. I really enjoy listening to it when we got back and started mixing it, and now that it's still out, it's a really good listening experience.
Thank you.
There was only one song that we did that didn't make the cut
because of time,
which is pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's only because of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only reason it got cut was that as we were just talking before we started rolling, we did a live album at Slim Jim's Liquor in Islington, and we have a better take of that song from there. So why not? I don't want to release a whole live album where it's all just the same songs as the live version of the first one. So.
Yeah. It's interesting because I kind of think, it's a live album, but it's not a live album. It's all the songs were played.
Yeah.
But they're basically single takes. There's a few overdubs, so it's sort of it was you playing live. But it's interesting that you've even said that there's a difference between that and, because I think it's a crucial difference. There's a difference between that and a live album, which is we're playing in front of an audience, and that's what we did. That's a whole different thing as well.
Well, when it comes out, you hear like "Howling at the Moon" is a classic one. It got hard for me to listen to the studio one again when we were mixing, because where I'd been listening to the live album and stuff like that, we play it a good bit faster.
Yes.
Same with the one that got taken off. There's a track called "Losing My Head." It's a fair bit faster live. Everything else was pretty much good. Josh is quite a good timekeeper, and it's not even him. It's probably me pushing it. I'm saying that on record now, so he doesn't kill me.
That everybody plays faster live. That's a thing.
Yeah,
everyone knows that.
But
the live versions are faster.
You got the audience spurring you on as well. Slim Jim's in London is an amazing venue, and that was we love playing there again because it would be a young audience into our sort of music. And so it would, when you got there, you got that buzz and feed off of it, where people would, want you to. They wouldn't moan when you put that little Black Sabbath bit in the end of the song, which is the jam that we do.
You sent me a list of sort of 5 albums that you said, or 5 artists' albums that had been, I suppose, influential or key in the development of the band and the development of the album. And the interesting thing was, I think I'd heard of 2 of the bands.
Yes.
It's like, I'd heard of 2 of the bands. I hadn't heard of the other 3. So just I just wanted to kind of just interrogate you a little about who those are and where they came from. I haven't had a chance to listen to. Usually I would listen to the albums. I listened to Patto.
Oh,
I thought that felt like, all right, it's
very
1970. That might be an interesting one. So I mean, that again, that's one where you go, well, how did you come across that? Because I haven't heard that before, and it's certainly, even to come across a name of a band that I've literally never heard of before. That was fascinating.
That is Father Kenny again. So the story goes for Patto, they're sort of like a not a very well known English. You would call them sort of underground right now. But Father Kenny, my dad, bought tickets in, I think, 1971 to go see Joe Cocker's Mad Dog and Englishman, and the legend goes, he tells it, nobody would go with him. And so he went on his own at 14 or something like that. And the opening band for Joe Cocker's Mad Dogs and Englishmen was Patto. And in somewhere in my family's from Tottenham. So my dad grew up in Tottenham, and we spent some time there as kids, but moved up here afterwards. But near where my dad grew up in Tottenham, there was like a Lee Valley pit or something like that, where they would throw vinyl. There was like a Polydor factory or something there where they would throw misprints out.
Oh wow, okay.
And so he would go sort of skip diving. And he found this sort of misprint of a Patto album on a label called Vertigo, which is kind of like a Black Sabbath started on Vertigo.
Yes.
At one point, when I was sort of later on in, I think probably about 19, he said you should listen to this band Patto.
Yeah.
And they're a hard pill to swallow at first because they're like rock jazz. They similar to us. They go off on tangents.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because I have been listening to your band. I found it largely a pretty easy listen. And I don't mean like easy listening. I mean like I thought, oh, this is cool. I quite like this style. I can quite get behind this. Until it got to track 10, I think it was. Which is a 10-minute rock jazz odyssey. I'm like, you kind of lost me now. But in general, as I said, not having ever heard of the band and not knowing what to expect at all, I thought, oh, yeah. Sweet.
Weirdly enough, they were in a band called Boxer.
Yes.
Early on, and they had a hit with the Begging. Who did it?
That cover was done recently by. It's been done a couple of times recently.
But they played the guitarist on it called Ollie Hulsell played vibraphone on it on that Begging song, and that's what
he was
kind
on
of
Begging as well, because there's quite a little vibraphone on that. Yeah, they've got sort of connections with Traffic and Steve Winwood. I think Muff Winwood produced the album.
Yeah, I think so.
Steve Winwood's brother. Muff Winwood did loads of other things. But
all tragic heroin junkies.
Yes.
But it comes out in the music. Some of their later stuff is not quite as palatable, but that album, the self-titled one, and there's one after it called Hold Your Fire, pretty sure it is sort of some unsung masterpieces in our household anyway. My brother in particular loves them as well, and he hates songs with key changes in it, and they do a lot of key changes in it. It was just a different influence. It hit me at the right time, and it really influenced my guitar playing, and also crucially in relation to Bag of Bones, when you listen to that first album as well, there's so much space. Again, when there's a guitar solo, there's nothing supporting them. There's not really any overdubs. And they let each other breathe. And that's why they were sort of a big inspiration for this album. It was kind of like, fuck it, we can just do what we want, really. And if you like it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. It was less pressure to make it. And I can't. If people like Patto and they'll like us, but there's not terrible amounts of influences in there, or not on this first album anyway.
I sort of picked that one because I thought, well, I've really never heard of that, so I want to see if I can pick out what it is about that, and then like to pick the two that I did recognise that you said sort of influences. Fleetwood Mac. But this is not Stevie Nicks.
No, Peter Green.
Peter Green original debut album, right? That was the one you said.
Yes, Peter Green is one of the people can sort of like narrow down a moment in their life that changes their life, and hearing Peter Green, I'd heard him before, which was weird, but there was like a particular instance with Peter Green. I'd already been playing guitar maybe about 8 months, and was just sort of fiddling about. And a friend of mine, we were playing Xbox Kids on a chat, and we were both into guitar at the same time, and he said, turn on, I think it was BBC something. I can't remember what it was now. It's like Best of the 60s was on. Or some such thing. And Jimi Hendrix was on. We was watching it, and then it come on, and a northern fellow went, "Oh, this is Fleetwood Mac, and they play the blues." And my friend said, "Oh, do you know this band?" I went, "Oh yeah, I think they wrote the original version of Black Magic Woman." I remember my dad always saying it. And they played a song called "Oh Well." And from that moment on, I was so flabbergasted by it. I couldn't remember. All I could remember was Green. And I asked my dad about the band a couple of days later. I said, "Oh, it's Fleetwood Mac. There was something to do with Green." The song. He went, "Oh, it was Green Man Alicia." And I went, "Oh, no, it wasn't it." So I spent days trying to find what this song was, and it was "Oh Well" by Fleetwood Mac. And from then on, for the next 2 years, all I listened to was Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac and Cream and Howlin' Wolf. It kind of took me from that's been playing 8 months playing things like The Who or like learning things like Chelsea Dagger and stuff like that, to being absolutely unequivocally obsessed with guitar playing. I'd go into school, sign in for the register, and then fuck off home and go and listen to Fleetwood Mac and figure it out. And it was just getting... Funny enough, a crucial thing that happened was that my Xbox broke and my parents couldn't afford to buy me a new one.
What am I going to do now?
I played so prolifically that I got tendonitis very early on. And that was it really. And then I had someone to jam with, my dad, so it was bouncing off, and then it was just feeding the mill from then on. I learned everything I could about guitar playing. But it changed my life literally. I can remember that one moment.
I mean, that Oh Well is, I think, is constantly referred to as one of the sort of major influential, foundational tracks within British music history, let alone anything else. But also the fact that, generally speaking, they were referred to as Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, not Fleetwood Mac. That's not a sort of retrospective thing in order to identify them. That's how influential and important he was as the leader of the band, basically.
He was sort of like not an unsung, but he was a British guitar legend and a blues legend as well, for white blues players as well. He's probably the best up there. Clapton is obviously amazing, but Peter Green is so soulful and sort of a victim of his own success, and people don't know he went mad later on and had a short career sort of from about 67 to 70, and then suffered with schizophrenia and stuff like that. So there's kind of like a little bit of a legend around him as well. But he was that influential and that good that the band couldn't get out from under his shadow for the next 7 years. They had like something like 4 other guitar players, different lineups, until they found Lindsey Buckingham and stuff and managed to get out from it. But it's just an absolute powerhouse of a musician. I think a person as well. It's just people talk about his voice a lot, and he's I'm gonna sound like I love him now, but he's quite charming and stuff like that. When you see pictures of him, you can see he's as opposed to someone like Eric Clapton, who was always a bit sullen and a bit retrieved, and he was a character.
That's what are Cream any influence? Just because you mentioned them just now, and I was thinking, oh well, there's an absolute standard 3-piece blues rock band.
Funny enough, that's what people as soon as would say that Cream. As soon as you say blues rock and it's a 3-piece, they would say Cream. But Cream jamming influence is definitely from Cream, but I don't think they particularly influence the songs from the. Clapton influences everything in the playing, but there's some Cream elements to it. My brother plays an SG bass like Jack Bruce from Cream and stuff like that, and but we were always more song focused than Cream. Cream sort of like you maybe got sometimes 2 or 3 commercial songs and then endless music virtuosity. And sometimes nutty lyrics just to sort of travel it through. But we're a lot more song based than Cream. But I also found as well our stuff felt a little bit. Whenever I thought of it, it felt a little bit more like undergroundy trio. As it not. That's a weird word, but that's why I think one of the ones on there as well is the James Gang, an American sort of trio. Joe Walsh started it, and they were again playing sort of songs. It was like something that you would listen to when you was maybe like a teenager in the 70s listened to, and they maybe didn't go up for massive success, but you liked them. But it's Cream. Everyone says Cream, but it's...
As I said, just when you mentioned it just now, I thought, they're obviously you can kind of go, there's the 3-piece. That's the... Well, is that the touchdown? But it's interesting to say that not really.
When you think of rock pop or classic 3-piece, I think they're almost like the first. They invented the power trio, so it can't be... Which is pretty much what we are, a power trio. So... You can't really...
And the more contemporary influence, I suppose, maybe I'm slightly wrong, but the most contemporary influence on there is the Black Keys?
Yeah, that's my brother Ollie, a big part of that. He heard them at some point in the early 2000s, before they even really made it big. And he would listen to them. We shared a room for 21 years, and he would listen to them constantly. And it never really bit until I got older, but they were a massive influence again because they record what they are. 2-piece. Their first 3 or 4 albums were recorded in basements. One was in a rubber factory, and it was on like one of those TIAC reel-to-reels. And when thinking about doing this, in recording in particular, I thought, why the fuck do I need an Eve desk and all this sort of stuff? If as long as it can take down what we're playing, and we could do it with 3 SM58s, whatever. There no overdubs on their stuff again. just a raw sound.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it. The songs were good, and their performances were good. That's what
Do you know what? You just said exactly what I was going to say. How much it doesn't really matter what gear you're using. If the songs are good and the performances are good, that makes, I don't know. Is that not 95% of it?
Well, that's why we rehearsed so hard. We wanted to make sure the performance was good. And even on some of this, we left some of like the bum notes in, because there's some times where you can hear me in particular might stumble over a note or something like that, or my guitar was feeding back like a bastard. But fuck it, why not?
Oh yeah,
it's all sound and
and it's character.
Because
you're like knocking all of the rough edges off, and personally, I try to not do that too much. Correct the hell out of everything, knock all the edges off, make it all polished. You just kill all the life in it. It's like, now it's perfect, and I don't care.
I don't think my voice in particular would work over something perfect, because I'm not the greatest singer in the world. I can sort of generally sing my own songs, but if it was like smooth, perfect production, I think it would sound. My voice would be the thing that made it sound not perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. It's a really good listen. It was great fun doing it.
No, it's great. It was great fun working with you.
And it's good that it's out. Well,
it will be out. Yeah.
It'll be out now. Vinyl, which is always a joy. The artwork on it looks amazing as well. You've put a lot of effort into that as well. And that's our mate Lemmy. Yeah,
a long time collaborator.
Yeah.
We like doing stupid artwork. I don't mean we like. People say we don't take ourselves seriously. Our fan once dubbed themselves a boner, so we now call our fans the boners. But we like doing ourselves in silly, stupid shit. Yeah. And Lemmy likes to draw it, and he draws it very well.
Yeah. So it's all awesome. So I'd encourage people to at least go and give it a listen. And what we really want you to do is go and pay some money for it.
Yes, please.
Go and own it. Go and have it in your hands.
We actually owe Martin a vast amount of money that we're hoping to repay.
We've got to recoup. Yeah. That's not true. Thanks for having a chat.
No, thanks for
It's
having me.
been really cool. It's good to hear some of it. I've known you for a while. I've heard the band, but a lot of the sort of background to it. We never get a chance to have a proper chat and hear about it. So
sorry for anyone I slagged off unintentionally.
Did we?
No,
surely not. That's what editing's for. Elliot, thank you very much for joining us. Next time we'll get the rest of the guys in as well and find out what they've got.
They have no opinions. They do exactly what Elliot says.
No opinions. Yes, they would just have nodded in the background anyway.
Yes. They would have gone, Elliot's right, of course.
That's right.
Yes.
But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to us on the Apollo Audio Podcast. That was a special with Elliot Stout, Bag of Bones. You'll hear more from them in the future, I'm very sure. Check us out on Instagram at Apollo Audio Podcast. You can also email us apolloaudiopod@gmail.com. Nobody ever does. Keep saying that, but shouldn't just laugh. Other bits of social media, we're on YouTube as well if you prefer to listen that way. Why? I don't know, there's no pictures, but you can. And all the usual places. And if you are interested in recording, rehearsing, tuition, anything you want to do with music, you can find everything about the studio at apollo-audio.co.uk. You'll find all the details for information, bookings, getting in touch there. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
You sure you forgive me?